it's not just like, oh, how many people were saved by my ministry, or like, oh, how many people experienced this transformation in their Christian walk. God gets glory just in the act of the thing itself. Expect us to see different perspectives, different insights, and why they might be relevant to your life.
I really wanted to focus in because I love what you talked about,
Yeah.
um, doing this, even just this ministry that you're really passionate about. Um, I'm become more and more convinced that God is glorified and are we can find joy when we do the things that God created, that God gifted us to do, because I feel
That's
like we're
good.
doing what God created us to do. So you're really passionate about multimedia kind of things just in general, and you're gifted in that, and you're using that as a way to honor God because you love it. You're doing what you love. You're doing what He created you to do, right? So it's like living in a way that's consistent with what's important to you. I think that's something that not many people in general think about enough, and even us as Christians, we don't really think a lot about, what is it that I love to do, and how can I leverage that, not just to bring me satisfaction in life, but to minister to others. Like for me, like I love to play music,
Yeah.
and a lot of times that's just been kind of a personal thing. But then I'm realizing more and more, why can I not leverage the gifts that God has given me to minister to others? So getting more into like music ministry and things like that. It's super. It's great. It's fun. It's freeing because what I'm doing is not just doing something that I love, but also proclaiming the gospel in that. So I think that's something that every Christian can learn from and grow from, is reflecting on what you've been gifted in, even if it doesn't seem like a big thing, but just something that you like to do, and how do I leverage that for God's purposes.
Yeah, that's so good. I love your point there. And before we close, I'll just mention that, like, I think that is so true. Like, God enjoys and gets glory out of. It's not just like, oh, how many people were saved by my ministry, or like, oh, how many people experienced this transformation in their Christian walk. Like, of course, I think those things glorify God, and um, prayerfully those things happen out in the world, but God gets glory just in the act of the thing itself. Like, me
Right.
creating, like you're saying, me using my gifts, uh, God takes glory in creativity. He made creativity. He is a creative God. We only create because we are imaged from a creator.
Yep.
Same thing with music. It I mean, like, for me, it's like been chill when you're like, how many people are receiving this well, and like how many people are being transformed. That is my prayer, my hope. But like, just be satisfied with knowing that you exercised your gifts,
Yeah.
and God is glorified in that alone. Same thing with music.
That's a
And
good perspective to have.
so,
Yeah. Otherwise, we would make it about ourselves. If it was all about the results, like some kind of practical result that we created, then it's a lot easier for us to make it about ourselves.